Back in the old days, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, back when Joe Biden was a young kid on the mean dirt roads of Scranton, Pennsylvania, before there was currency used for exchanges, people would barter with each other. They would trade. Farmer Fred. Farmer Fred would have a three-legged cow that was no longer useful to him. Homeless Harold had a thick blanket to keep him warm on cold winter nights. Fred needed a blanket. Harold needed a cow so he would have milk or food for the next few months. Both men would satisfy their needs by trading with each other. The trades were typically equal. If Fred already had a blanket, Harold was of absolutely no use to him. Bartering is completely different today. Today, we trade money for commodities, money for goods. Imagine you're in the market to buy a house. Your real estate agent shows you a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house in Gilbert, Arkansas, a town with a population of 28 people, all named Gilbert. The average home price in Gilbert is $200,000, but the owners of this particular dump are asking for $2 million. This house is literally a dump. Picture your average WNBA dump, but you have access to running water. Are you going to be the dumbass that pays 10 times market value for this house? No. 99.9% of people are not going to agree to that deal. Unfortunately, that other 0.1% resides at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. If you're a con artist and you're looking for your next victim, if you're looking to swindle some doofus out of money, contact the White House. Because Joe Biden just agreed to one of, if not, the worst prisoner exchange in my lifetime. Why? I have no fucking idea. It's not like he was being pressured by the American public. Less than a week ago, SB Nation published an article asking why there hasn't been more public outrage to bring pretend basketball player and professional dump diver Bob Griner back home. I'll tell you why there's been no outrage. No one cares. There hasn't been much pressure from public figures or the mainstream media. Now sure, about once a week, media outlets will update us on the prison conditions for Bobby. Oh, it's so terrible! For the first time in her life, BG is being forced to work. Joe Biden hadn't been pressured by the WNBA to bring the BG back home. Well, Casey, that's simply not true. The WNBA has been vocal. They have been pressuring Joe Biden to do whatever it takes to get their top garbage man back home. I know the WNBA has been vocal. I know they desperately need their best trash engineer back on the streets. Last 9 or 10 months, garbage has been piling up in Phoenix. The dump's only running at 50% capacity. But an organization can only apply pressure if they have relevance, if they have status. The WNBA has neither. They're about as relevant as a mosquito on an elephant's ass. So, let's get this straight for a second. No pressure from the public. Very little pressure from the mainstream media. Pressure from the WNBA doesn't exist. Outside of Bob's wife and family, no one gave a shit that Bobby's Russian adventure was extended 10 years. So with that being the case, why would Joe Biden swap a convicted arms dealer, a man skilled in espionage, a man convicted of supplying weapons that were used against the American military? You swap Viktor Bout for a dump diver? Dump divers are a dime a dozen. While I was prepping this video this morning, I heard one of them in the front of my house picking up my trash. And no disrespect to real garbage men, by the way. But criminals with a skill set of Viktor Bout, they are hard to come by. So I'm struggling to understand how we, America, how we come out ahead in this deal. This is like swapping a Rolls Royce for a Dodge Dart. Joe Biden is all on TV this morning, pretending like this is some big accomplishment. He's acting like he saved Jesus from the Romans. This is a great day for America. Trash service will return to 100% capacity by tomorrow morning. Inhabitants of the dump, they're overjoyed for the return of their object of worship. Twitter servers have been overrun this morning with bearded women expressing their joy. Now, this hasn't been released publicly, but my inside sources tell me shitfucks are organizing an epic butt bongo festival to honor Bob Griner. There will be plenty of activities, bobbing for Griner, a special showing of their favorite film, Two Birthing Persons, One Cucumber. The festival will be catered by Oscar Mayer, plenty of woke wiener for everyone. The night will be capped off with fireworks representing every color of the rainbow. Preparation H will be supplied free of charge to ensure no one has a hangover the next morning. Now, birthing persons might be ecstatic for the return of Brittney Griner, but normal people seem to have the opposite reaction. Now, I don't think people are mad Brittney Griner's coming home. I think we can all agree she has served enough time for a little bit of weed. 10 years, that's extremely harsh. Hell, 10 days would be too harsh. But there is legitimate outrage, not fake outrage. There is legitimate outrage with how all of this transpired. People are obviously upset that we traded a pot of gold for a pot of wig stew. We traded the useful for the useless. But to make matters worse, Joe Biden left Paul Whelan behind. I have no idea how these negotiations went down, so this is pure speculation on my part. If I had to guess, the Russians offered a 1-to-1 exchange. We send them Viktor Bout, and Joe Biden could choose between Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan. That's just an assumption. Paul Whelan's charges are more serious than Bob Griner's, but I'm guessing that's how it went down. If I'm right, if that's the case, it would mean Joe Biden chose a pretend basketball player, a WNBA dunk diver, over a man who served this country in the military. Paul Whelan is a former Marine. He fought during the war in Iraq. He's not even from America. He was born in Canada. But he still sacrificed his life so we could enjoy ours. Now, I know he's got a spotty record. I know he was discharged for bad conduct. I don't care. The man served this country, a country he wasn't even born in. He deserves for this country to serve him, fight for him. Instead, bumbling Biden chooses Bob Griner, someone who spent the last 2 years disrespecting the country, disrespecting the military, kneeling for the national anthem, accusing America of mythical racism, complaining about woke welfare, claiming misogyny is the reason no one cares about the WNBA. What has Brittney Griner done for America besides take advantage of it? This choice should have been simple. If the Russians gave Joe Biden a choice, he should have chosen the former Marine. It is absolutely disgraceful if he actually chose Bob over Paul Whelan. To be honest with you, he should have demanded both. Joe Biden had all the leverage here. We're not at war with Ukraine. Russia is. Viktor Bout is of no use to our military, but he can damn sure help Russia. Why not send both Americans home in exchange for Viktor Bout? Now, it's going to be interesting to see how Brittney Griner returns to America. The mainstream media is going to turn her into the ultimate victim. She stands to make millions of dollars. They are going to try and use her for all their woke boner causes. Now, will she return a changed woman or changed man, whichever gender is preferred, or will she fall back into the trap of being a victim? Brittney Griner is not the victim here. Paul Whelan is the victim. Will she use her platform to fight to bring him back home? Will she use her platform to appreciate this country? Will she apologize for all the times that she disrespected America? Now, I want to believe 10 months in a Russian prison would give her a greater appreciation for this country, but I have my doubts. Another aspect that's going to be interesting. How will this impact the WNBA? I'm going to assume Bob Griner will be returning to the Phoenix dump. I mean, who wouldn't? You've been making 1, maybe 2 rubles every day doing hard labor in a Russian prison. Who wouldn't return to America and collect 6 figures in woke welfare for pretending to play basketball? The WNBA will be begging Bob to return. For the first time in the history of this league, they have a household name. Now, I'm not going to say Brittney Griner is a superstar. I wouldn't even call her a star, but she has become a household name. The situation with Brittney Griner in Russia has given massive exposure to the WNBA. If she returns, the mainstream media will turn it into a spectacle. Thursday night, live on ESPN, we witnessed the immaculate return of Bob Griner. For the first time in nearly 2 years, we will have the pleasure of watching Bob airball free throws. We will see her run the court during a slow break and trip falling to the floor. We will experience her unique ability to find ways to airball layups. Oh, it's going to be legendary! The WNBA will do everything they can, and the mainstream media will help them. But they're going to do everything they can to capitalize on the return of Brittney Griner. For the first time, there could actually be legitimate interest going into a WNBA season. Keyword, could. Will there be interest? I doubt it. I don't see the return of Bob Griner doing a damn thing for WNBA ratings. Now sure, they might have a good number the first game. Instead of drawing 379,000, maybe they draw 380,000. Maybe they get lucky, 400,000. Let's go out on a limb here. Let's say they draw 1 million viewers. After the curiosity factor wears off 2 or 3 minutes into the first quarter, people will be reaching for the remote to change the channel. Just like sympathy, the curiosity factor can only carry you so far. People tuning in to see the return of Bob Griner will immediately come to the same realization that the rest of us have known for 26 years. The WNBA is unwatchable garbage. All right, link to the channel on Rumble's in the description below. Be sure to subscribe on Rumble just in case. But give me your thoughts. Joe Biden exchanges a career criminal so Brittney Griner can reunite with the birthing person she married. I am sure you guys have plenty to say about this, so sound off in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Contact me by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later.